Movies, television, books.
Music, games, comics.
Pop culture is one of the things that makes life worth living.
And pop culture can be a window into your soul.
Welcome to Blew My Mind,
where Shrink Tank contributors share personal,
mind-blowing
pop culture experiences.
I'm Dr. Craig Pohlman, neurodevelopmental psychologist, author, aspiring game show host, and Yoda disciple.
I'm Dr. Melissa Miller, therapist, author, film producer, above-average snowboarder, and Harry Potter fan.
What's the last movie you saw on the big screen?
I actually recently saw Ocean's 8.
And what'd you think?
Sadly, I was pretty disappointed. I would give it a C at best.
That's too bad. I really liked Ocean's 11.
Yeah, me too. It's not as exciting at all.
So maybe I'll wait and see that when it's on TNT.
For sure. How about you? What have you seen?
Well, the whole family went to see Incredibles 2 this past weekend and loved it. So good. Have you seen that yet?
No, I cannot wait. We're waiting until my kids get home from summer camp, but I feel like we've been waiting for how many years now?
14 years.
Ah!
Yeah, so it's definitely it'll be a good family view.
Awesome. Well, as chance would have it, today we're talking about movies. Specifically, mind-blowing summer movie experiences.
So not necessarily the best movie we ever saw in the summer or the best movie about summer.
That's right. We're each going to share a special experience we had watching a movie in the summer. So Craig, what's your pick?
Movies are part of what makes summer special, right?
Totally.
And even if a movie isn't super awesome, it can still be really memorable if you're at the right group of people with your family or the setting if it's attached to a vacation or something. So I have an experience, though, that is around a great movie, and that's Wonder Woman.
Yes.
2017. And, just to kind of put Wonder Woman in context, for many years, Marvel had been kicking butt with their movies, and the DC movies have not been doing that well critically and not as well at the box office, and there actually had been some semi-flops, and so and then also there was the Me Too movement that happened in 2017, and the Women's March on Washington. So all of this in our social cultural climate, a lot about feminism and female power. So I'm saying all this to say that the stakes were really high for Wonder Woman. There was a lot of pressure on the filmmakers to come up with a winner, and they totally did. They totally came through. The reviews before it was released were stellar, so I knew that we were going to be in for a treat, and my wife and I definitely wanted our kids to see a movie featuring a superheroine.
Totally.
A movie built around a heroine. I mean, Wonder Woman had appeared in Batman vs. Superman the year previous, and we'd seen female superheroes in the Marvel movies, but this is a movie about her. And obviously, there were the TV shows, Linda Carter back in the 70s, but this was a major movie event, and the movie just knocked my socks off. What did you think of Wonder Woman?
I loved it. And you're right. It was the right time for this movie. I think that it really hit. I think people were ready for this movie, and I loved it because my family doesn't go see a ton of superhero movies, but the ones that we love are the ones that show like the darker backstory, right? Like Batman Begins, and just when you see their backstories. And to me, Wonder Woman had that feel where you get to see the really interesting beginnings. It appealed to males and females alike. It was outstanding.
And yes, it did have the darker elements to it, but there was some comedy.
Yes.
And one of the great elements of this movie is the fish out of the water laughs when Diana Prince. And by the way, a shout out Gal Gadot. I am such a fan of hers. I mean, she is just luminous. I mean, on screen and just. She's just so beautiful, but just has such a natural charisma about her.
Yes.
So when she first comes to London and has to sort of figure out what's going on, and they take her, Steve Trevor and Miss Candy, take her shopping so that she can kind of fit in.
Unlike him. I'm introducing myself. It's Etta Candy. I'm Steve Trevor's secretary.
What is a secretary?
Ooh, well, I do everything. I go where he tells me to go, and I do what he tells me to do.
Oh, well, where I'm from, that's called slavery.
I really like her.
Fantastic.
Oh,
Ladies, after you.
I do. I like her. And it does
So, she's got some spunk to her, she's I mean, she's a goddess and she knows it. So I got to tell you, the scene, though, that really blew my mind, and it was so great to see it with my sons and my wife, was when you see Wonder Woman in full regalia the very first time.
Diana, it means no man can cross it, all right? This battalion has been here for nearly a year, and they barely gained an inch, all right? Because on the other side, there are a bunch of Germans pointing machine guns at every square inch of this place. This is not something you can cross. It's not possible.
So what? So we do nothing?
No, we are doing something. We are. We can't save everyone in this war. This is not what we came here to do.
No, but it's what I'm going to do.
Chills.
Yeah. You're right. That moment when she kind of rises to her destiny, it's just, incredible.
Couple things about this scene. First of all, my wife was bawling when this happened. So it's World War I. They're down in a trench, and she decides she's going to take on the Germans so that they can free this town of villagers that are they're basically prisoners of war over there. And so she puts on her tiara for the first time, takes off her robes, and she's in her uniform, and she climbs the ladder, and then she runs across no man's land, and she's knocking bullets aside and mortars, and she saves the day. And we had, my wife and I had such a great conversation with our sons on the ride home after this movie about the symbolism of that scene and how, the phrase "no man's land" and that it's impossible to do. And she just says, "Forget that. I don't want to hear anything about no man's land. I'm going to get this done." And, taking off her robes and revealing, her inner strength and just charging across, leading the men who are literally behind her, following her lead. It just was, I feel like that scene is going to be remembered in 100 years as a seminal moment in cinema and really established Wonder Woman as a special character and just a great moment in film, not just in superhero movies.
Yeah. And I would even add to that, one of the moments where I feel like it kind of shattered the ceilings for women in film.
Yes, absolutely. So, boy, what a mind-blowing experience. And I would have loved this movie even if I had gone by myself or just with my wife, but to share it with my 3 sons, it just made it really, really special. A great summer experience.
Oh, that's awesome. So my movie, I picked one that I thought was just a couple of summers ago, but when I looked it up, it was 5 summers ago. So 2013, World War Z came out. Now, I honestly think this is a great movie. So, but let me set the stage of why this is my pick. I am still really good friends with my girlfriends from high school. There's 5 of us, and we try to get together once a year, once every other year. It's really special when we do, just the 5 of us. I look forward to these weekends for a long time, and time with them just makes everything right. And so we were together in Minneapolis. It was summertime. We had been outside all morning, and then a huge storm rolled in. So we went to this incredible new theater at the time. The recliner seats and the restaurant type movie theater were fairly new. So we went to this brand new movie theater. The storm was so big that you could hear and feel the thunder in your seat. So it just set the stage for like a really cool viewing experience. And this new theater turned up the volume incredibly loud. And World War Z is one of those movies that the louder, the better, because the sound effects of the zombies was terrifying. And I personally love films about zombie apocalypses. And so this one, it was thrilling. It was exciting. It was the right mood. I was with my best friends that I've known for 25 years. It was just a slam dunk of a great experience. I want to play the one scene that kind of gives you an idea of how exciting this movie is. To me, this movie starts off and it hooks you in the first minute. But this is a scene where the zombies are taken over New York City, and the main character, who's played by Brad Pitt, and his 2 daughters and wife. Brad Pitt is a retired strategic person for the military, and they have told him that they need him to figure this out, and they are sending a helicopter at the top of this building that if him and his family can get to it, they will be rescued. And so it's this panic scene of him trying to get his family out alive, but we also get to see the zombies chasing them and hear them up close.
I'm scared.
Connie, there's a helicopter waiting for us on the roof. Keep your eyes on Mommy and Daddy, okay? Be ninja quiet. Just a walk in the park.
How do we know they're coming?
They're coming. Ready? Okay, come on, guys.
So one of the best parts about this movie that I think is different from other zombie movies is he is trying to protect his family, and you fall in love with his 2 daughters and his wife, and watching him and the whole family trying to stay alive and be brave and run, it gets your heart. It gets your heart.
Yeah, this movie, I have a special summer experience with this movie as well, because it came out in the heyday of The Walking Dead.
Oh, yeah.
My wife and I, big Walking Dead fans before the show became terrible. And so we saw this movie, and it was just gruelingly suspenseful. The final scene, she had her nails into my arm to the point of physical pain because it was so stressful. It was a fun film to take in.
One of my most suspenseful and strenuous scenes is when they are in Korea and they are trying to find, what do you call it, victim 0, patient 0.
Right.
And they have found the military there, and they need to refuel a plane and get to Jerusalem because that's where they now have identified the outbreak has started. And the military is committed to getting him and a pilot and this scientist on a plane, refueling it without waking the zombies. So I'm going to play this clip here. And the greatest part is they are on these bicycles in the rain at night, and they're not supposed to make a noise. And so you're just holding your breath as they start pedaling out to this plane, and it all goes wrong, and it's just terrifying.
Okay, come on, guys.
That was a great scene. That was a lot of fun.
I love Brad Pitt in movies too. I don't know what it is about him, but he was a great actor in this. You love the characters. This is such an exciting movie. I still love it. But what about you, Craig?
Well, okay. Again, I really enjoyed watching it in the theater with my wife. It was a fantastic summer movie experience. The movie completely fell apart on me afterwards as I started contemplating it. And so Brad Pitt's character, Jerry Lane, he's this expert who is trying to solve this puzzle of this global zombie apocalypse, and he goes all the way around the world and back, and only he figures out that the zombies don't go after sick people. Wouldn't they have noticed that back in New York City and Newark and Philadelphia? Like the fact that the zombies weren't going in any hospitals, they were bypassing people that had illnesses on the streets. I mean, he moved heaven and earth to figure this out. And so that plot point really fell apart for me. The other interesting thing is that ending scene that's so suspenseful was not the original third act of the movie.
Really?
Yeah, they had a Mark Forster, the director, he filmed an entirely dark final act that involved Jerry Lane going to Russia and fighting zombies there. And meanwhile, his wife she's basically prostituted herself to fend for her daughters. And she has this affair with the helicopter pilot who's played by Matthew Fox from Lost. In the movie cut, the theatrical release, he's hardly in. I'm thinking, why is Matthew Fox doing it in a role that they could have just cast as an extra? It's because he has all this stuff that they left on the editing room floor. So Forster was pressured by the studio to have a more uplifting final act of the movie. So they spent millions of dollars and all this time to reshoot everything. And that whole scene at the end where they're in the disease center where he figures out that the zombies don't attack sick people. That was all added after the fact.
That's crazy to know. Well, and I'm still waiting. I had heard rumors that there's a second one coming out, but not heard any date on that.
What letter comes after Z? World War Z? World War Z2? Let's wrap up. If you're listening and have a thought about summer movie experiences or would like to share an idea for a show topic, please email us at feedback@shrinktank.com.
Our audio engineer and editor is Sean Beck.
Sean is cool for the summer.
Be sure to check out all of the content, including articles, videos, quizzes, and surveys on our website.
Shrinktank.com is the place for all of your psychology and pop culture needs. Until next time, I'm Craig Pohlman.
I'm Melissa Miller.
And this is Blew My Mind.
Shrink Tank.